Yo, how's everybody doing? You know what? I'm going to take this hat off. How y'all doing? Happy Fridays, Financial Freedom Friday. How y'all doing today? Y'all excited? Man, I'm excited. Tell you why I'm excited. I'm about to go somewhere where it's going to be 90 degrees all next week. The whole 10, 11 days we're going to be there. It's going to be 90 degrees during the day and 70 at night. And they got water and they got mountains. Woohoo! My wife and I gonna have fun. So y'all take care of yourself now. Y'all take care of yourself now. Now, September was Life Insurance Awareness Month, right? And I'm sure all y'all was all excited about that. Why you get excited about life insurance? Well, get excited about life. And don't call it life insurance, call it love insurance, okay? How you take care of your loved ones. So today, what I want to do is I want to run through a checklist that I created for my clients to cause them to think about their financial situation in their life. Okay, so let me ask you a question. How do you want to live? Okay, I'm at an age now, you see the gray, I got to cut all this off, but I'm at an age now where I've lived longer than I'm going to live. That's just the reality of it. Okay, so I've got, I don't know, Lord willing, the creek don't rise, 20, 25, 30 years. You know, we had a birthday party for my uncle who's 90. He's 90. And his wife is 86. Right? So, man, so I could live to 90. That's another 20-something more years. So what do you want to do during those years? How do you want to live? How do you want to live? You know, physically, where would you like to live? And when you're living there, what do you want to do every day? What do you want to see? What do you want to experience? How do you want to help other people? Well, the way you get to craft that life is by having a plan. And a plan is usually a checklist of sorts of things you got to think about and get done. Now, we're about to pack some suitcases to go on vacation. Now, you think we got a checklist? Mm-hmm. What am I going to do? How do I want to live when I get there? So that's what I put in the suitcase. If I forget it, then I have to buy it there or something like that. You see what I'm saying? So how do you want to live your life? How do you want to live? That's what you get to decide. You get to decide. So, okay, so let's get going. Let me show you these slides. Let's get going. And I repeat this stuff so you get it. So, okay, so we're going to go from knowing to doing, like that was last month. And look, I want you guys to apply this stuff and put it to work in your life and then use it for your family. I have 3 children. And last week, separately, they're in their 30s, separately, and without talking to each other, they thanked my wife and I by how we raised them. And one of the ways we raised them to be readers, and we raised them to be thinkers, okay? And not to just follow the herd. You understand what I'm saying? Don't do what everybody else is doing, okay? And to be thinkers. And so that's made them business owners, real estate owners, investors, and they think for themselves. So I want you to take this information you're learning here and think for yourself about creating financial independence for yourself, because nobody's going to do it for you. Financial independence is about having enough money or setting up assets so you have enough cash flow so you don't have to go to work every day. Make sense? So financial literacy is understanding how to earn, spend, save, manage, and invest money. It's all of it. It's all of it. It is actually doing it. Okay? It's actually doing it. Now check this out. This paragraph, now some of y'all know what this is from, but when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with one another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's gods entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind that they should declare the causes which impel them to separation. In other words, look, it's time in my life and my experience to separate from folks that don't have my best interests at heart and aren't enabling me to do that. So, and you know what? Sometimes that person you need to separate from is you. I have a friend who's learning a foreign language, right? And he's tried, like he said, over 20 ways to learn this language, and he's struggling with it. So he had a language professor who basically said, well, if you've tried 25 different ways, maybe it's not the 25 ways that's the problem. Maybe you the problem. You understand what I'm saying? So who's the common denominator to all of our financial challenges? It's us. So maybe we ought to declare independence from the old person that we used to be. Just like America had to declare independence and have a war with England to get their freedom. How about you declare a war on the old you? It's time to declare your independence from the financial situation you don't want to be in. It's called being sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, you heard about the dog on the porch, right? Y'all never heard it's an old Southern story about the dog on the porch? Friend had a dog on the porch, you know, those big Southern porches on the front of the house. Dog's on the front porch, and the dog is moaning and groaning. Friend comes over and says, man, what's wrong with your dog? Is he sick or something? He said, no, he's laying on a nail. The dog's laying on a nail. He said, well, why don't he get off that nail then? You know what the owner said? It don't hurt bad enough. So sometimes if it don't hurt bad enough, we'll just stay and adapt in the situation. You know, the remote is too far away, so I'll just watch this channel because I don't feel like going over there and getting it. You understand what I'm saying? So declare independence from the thinking and habits that caused you to be where you're at financially. If you're happy where you're at, great. Keep doing what you're doing. Maybe you're doing great and you want to do better. The enemy of great is good. Okay? We can always be doing a little bit better. Yeah, be content with where you're at, but you know what I'm saying? We could always be doing a little bit better. So declare independence from that person, you know, that's keeping you there. So what do you declare your dependence on? Well, I suggest you declare your dependence on God. Declare your dependence on your God-given dreams and your purpose. Develop a kingdom and wealth mindset. That's another course for another day. Develop a work ethic. Develop a willingness to never quit. To never quit. Okay? It's time to execute and take action. And hey, look, let's connect. You can connect through the email that's on the web, that's on front of you, Financial Freedom Fridays. I've got a phone number set up that you can call into, 312-569-0757. Let's connect, okay? And see how we could be of service to you to help you reach your goals. Make sense? Does that make sense? All right. So here we go. We're going to start into this checklist. I've told you about this book, How Money Works. Told you how this book, Power of One More. I'm going through it again for the third or fourth time. Okay. My website, How Money Works Challenge, to take the challenge to see where you're at. Hit us up on the email. We'll send you a free ebook. You can also get this checklist. Now we're going to go through this checklist now. The checklist I talk about on this slide, we're going to go through it right now. Okay. So here it is. Financial freedom checklist. These are areas to consider in your planning. You may decide to do none of these. That's okay. But know why or why not, whether you're choosing to address these areas of need or not. You're taking a risk, but study the risk and be wise. That makes sense? You may decide that none of this makes sense for you. That's okay. but have a studied reason. So checklist number 1. I want to review my financial picture again. It's been more than blank months since the last time. When the last time you sat down with somebody, an objective third party, to look at where you're at financially, where you want to go? If it's been over 12 months, guess what? You need to do it again. You know, wealthy people have something called a family office. This started thousands of years ago, back in Italy, where you had a person that was a man of the house called a major domo, who was the manager of the house. Wealthy people would have somebody who manages the house to make sure everything was in order. Now they have those things they call a family office. Where I went to graduate school, the University of Chicago, they have a course to teach families who have a net worth of at least $10 million how to have a family office. These are people whose job it is to manage their money. Not the family. The family's job is to live their life. These folks' job is to manage their money. What I've noticed is the less money people have, the more they keep it hidden from somebody. The more money people have, the more people that they enlist to help them to grow it. Hello. Or maybe you already have a financial advisor, but let's get a second opinion. When people have major medical issues come up in their life, what do sometimes? Get a second opinion. Because what they're about to undertake is real important and they want to get it right. That makes sense? Okay. Number 2, I want to get a better handle on my zero-based budget, my cash flow. Remember, we spent a lot earlier this year putting together your zero-based budget, going from zero and building it up and only putting things in your budget that were consistent with your goals. Do you remember doing that? Well, if you didn't do that, maybe you need to do that now. Maybe you need to do that now. I want to develop some specific goals and strategies for my short, mid, and long-term time horizons. Check this out. I usually talk to people about short-term, 0 to 1 year, mid-term, 1 to 5 years, and then long-term, 5 years plus. And then you have bank accounts set up against those time periods and against the major strategies in those areas. So consider that. Do you have specific goals and strategies to reach them written down for 0 to 1 year, 1 to 5 year, and 5 years plus? That's part of what my wife and I are going to be reviewing while we're away, just chilling. We're going to be talking about that. How do we want to spend, the rest of our lives together, Lord willing? Okay? I want you to think about that. All right? Here we go. Next one. Do you have the right amount and right kind of life insurance? Why are you concerned about that? Because as we talked about, life insurance is one of the ways that you could create wealth for your family, where you could create, hey, Leslie in Crown Point, Indiana, and Tina Long from Houston. Tina, I've seen your name on here before. Good to see you again. I want to make sure I have the right amount and the right kind of life insurance. Why? Because life insurance is one of the assets you can use to build wealth, right? And here's what I know about every person on here. One day we're going to pass away. If you know that's going to happen, why not invest in that situation and get a 10 to 20 times return on it? Think about it. What if your family had $500,000 from everybody who's ever died in your family? And you guys used part of that to build a family bank. So your family would have money to fund businesses, help people buy homes, send kids to college and stuff like that. Just think about it. I want to explore why I might need long-term care insurance. What's that? Well, I joke with people and I say either you have long-term care insurance or you are long-term care insurance. As we live longer and longer, at some point we're going to probably need help in our homes to live. Who's going to provide that help? Well, if you have kids and you're in your 70s and 80s, your kids are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, they may not be physically able to do it, They may live in another place or have their own families. They got stuff going on, may not be able to do it. So how are you going to pay for that? Long-term care. What about disability? Two things we said can mess up your life, right? One is dying, and the second one is almost dying. Why is almost dying a problem? Well, if you can't go to work and you can't make money, but you still have to pay your bills, what's going to happen? Number one cause of bankruptcy in America are medical bills. People can't pay them. And people aren't working. They're not able to make money as they could in the past because their life has changed. I want to get out of debt plan with a specific month and year attached to it. We've got a great plan that'll get you out of debt in 4 years, right? And you'll pay at minimum, typically 50% less than you're paying right now to pay off your debt. What'd you say, Gus? Yeah, how'd you like to get out of debt in 4 years or less and pay half the amount that you're supposed to pay on your credit card? What? Yep. We've got a great debt negotiation program that can help you get out of debt. And it's money back guaranteed. So I encourage you to check it out. Reach out. Number 8, I need to develop an emergency fund. Whoa. During COVID, that was an emergency. Lasted a long time too, right? How important was it to have savings during COVID? During any emergency that's unforeseen? Man, it's important. So we need to be aggressively developing an emergency fund. Number 9, oh boy, this is an issue right now, isn't it? I don't know how and where to invest my money for the future. Is anybody losing money in the stock market? Is anybody losing money in the stock market? Anybody have any concerns about where it's going? What if there was a way for you to have a floor and not lose your money? And even if the market goes down, at least 1% is in your account, and you don't lose your position. When the market goes up, it goes up. What if there was a way? What if there was a way to get a bonus, double-digit bonus on the money that you have right now, and have a floor built in so you won't lose money? So if you can afford to lose money, great. I understand the market's on sale. The market's on sale and it's a great time to buy. Yes, it is. And you should do that. And there's also a place for protecting some of that money. There's a balance in there based on your plan. So what's your plan of knowing how and where to invest your money for the future? What's your plan? How much am I willing to risk and invest, buy things on sale, grow it in the future? And how much should I have in more of a fixed or more conservative? What should that look like? I encourage you to take a look at that with somebody. I want to learn how to retire with a tax-free income stream. Whoa, what you talking about, Willis? Well, if you have a 401k, that's going to get taxed. If you have a pension, that's going to get taxed. But money coming out of a Roth IRA, a permanent life insurance policy, guess what? It's not taxed. What you talking about, Willis? Yeah, it's not taxed. Not at all. How do you develop a tax-free income stream? How can I do that? You need to know it. What's another one? How to greatly reduce my income tax liability. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday. He made north of $400,000 last year and paid about 3-4% in taxes. 3 to 4% of his income he paid in taxes. Wouldn't you love to learn how to report your taxes and your income and tax to the IRS, file the forms, and pay 5% or less in taxes? Now, we're not a tax service, but we can connect you with people who do that and help people to do that. Do you have an income tax strategy where you can pay the least legal amount of tax possible? The least legal. Don't avoid it. But the tax laws were written so you can understand what the rules are for paying taxes. Are you taking advantage of all the tax benefits that you can? That's one of the reasons why you need to own your own business, and one of the reasons why you need to own real estate is to manage that tax liability. Does that make sense? So what could you be doing in that arena? Think about this. Man, that's a lot of stuff. We're only on number 12. We got 8 or 9 more to go. It takes time and it takes study to be wealthy. I was talking to a friend of mine who's worth 9 figures. 9 figures. And we're in a business together, and he's willing to help people who are coming along to be where he's at to not make the mistakes. Hello, Ursuline from Garland, Texas. Not make the mistakes he's made on the way. And is teaching people how to be wealthy. I want to understand how and why life insurance makes sense for taxes, saving and investing, and creating a family bank. I have friends who get the mortgages for their house and their buildings from their family. They don't go to a bank. Okay? They go to a family bank. What? Family bank. Yeah. There are cultures that do that as well. They don't go to banks that are owned by other people. They've got a family bank. How would you like to set up a family bank that has your last name on it, with a vision towards the future of your family banking with your family and not with somebody else's family? JP Morgan Chase, JP Morgan was a person. Okay? Mellon Bank, it's a person. People started these banks. How much money do you need for retirement? And where's it going to come from? How do I get that money? There's only 3 or 4 places your money can come from in retirement, generally speaking. Where's yours going to come from? Are you planning for it now? How much money do you need for retirement, taking into account inflation, taking into account inflation, right? The rising cost of healthcare, taking those into account. How much money do you actually need for retirement to live the way you want to live? How do I create and provide multi-generational wealth for my family? Now, I don't know what your faith is, but in my thought process, providing for your children's children is important, because we don't want the next generation to start off at the same level we had to start off. It should be getting better for people in our family as time goes on, right? So if you're going to provide multi-generational wealth, first you need to have some, and then you need to know how to set up the legal structures to protect that wealth and pass it on. So who's helping you to do that? I encourage you to seek out a professional who can help you do that. Make sense? Number 15, I need a plan to help my children and grandchildren pay for college. Does that make sense? Mom and dad has kids. Are most mom and dads able to write that check for their kids to go to college? Are they able to write that check? Typically not. But what if the village got together and helped pay for that child or that grandchild's college? We can show you some strategies for doing that. Make sense? Number 16, I like to host an educational event for your family, for your school or group. If that's something of interest to you, let me know. And we can arrange that either with Zoom or one of our local offices can help you out. If that interests you, hosting an educational event for your family, for a school, for a group, let me know. Okay? I'd like a free financial needs analysis that covers all these areas we're talking about and a few more I'm about to cover. And it's free. It's going to cost you some time. Suggest you take advantage of that free financial needs analysis. Okay, I can't tell you enough. How to pre-plan and prepay for a funeral or funeral expenses. I buried my mother a little over 10 years ago. And I almost punched out the funeral director because he was trying to sell me watertight caskets, certain lining in the casket. The funeral cemetery was trying to sell me certain plots of land that were more sunny than others and this, that, and the other. What were they trying to do? They had seen the insurance policy and they knew how much money was going to be coming in. They're trying to make as much money as they could. And I said, dude, if you try to sell me something else, I'm going to punch you in your face. My mother is not in that casket, so stop trying to upsell me. We know how much we're going to spend and we know kind of what it is we want. So thank you very much. What if you can make one phone call, have the whole funeral executed by people who are funeral directors, and they'll negotiate for you on your behalf to get the best price, and it comes wrapped up with an insurance policy that pays out in 24 to 48 hours. So somebody passes away, and within 24 to 48 hours, you have the check, you make one phone call, the funeral gets executed. And you don't have to go through what I did dealing with numbnuts at the funeral parlor and then the folks at the cemetery. You make one call and it's done and the money's done. And this policy is just for the burial, so they don't know too much of your business. Hello. I need a plan to pay off my student loans. Get your loans forgiven. We have a team that works with the current set of rules around student loan forgiveness and can work with you to figure out what you would qualify for to get your loans forgiven. What? You got folks that do that? Yep, sure do. Why? Because it's a big need for people. It's a huge need for people. Number 20, I need a plan to create a second income of X amount of dollars a month. Consistently, if I could make 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 more on top of my job, man, how could that help me get some of this stuff knocked out? If that's a need you have, let us know. Let us connect you with some folks that can help you out with that. Does that make sense? We're almost done. Couple more. Oh, that was it. Those are the last ones. So 20 items on the financial checklist. Okay. I encourage you, and I'll talk to the host and we'll post these up. If you have any questions on these, please reach out to us. financialfreedomfridays.com and 312-569-0757. 312-569-0757. Which one of these things struck a chord for you? That, hey, I really need to deal with this. Man, I really need to deal with this. Okay. Man, I never thought about that before. Encourage you to check those items out. Okay. Check those items out and take advantage of it. So it's Financial Freedom Fridays. Like the program, subscribe to the channel, share it out with people, get the word out about creating financial independence. And the way that happens is having a plan. And a plan is a checklist of items that you've got to get done. Just like going on vacation. If I don't get the checklist done, I'm not going to go on vacation. Or if I do go on vacation, I'm not going to have as good of experience as I could have if I'd have planned better. Okay? You guys have a great rest of the weekend. We'll see y'all in a minute. Take care now. Bye-bye.